Hi, I'm Vic Carucci. For the next 30 minutes, I'm going to have a candid conversation with one of the leading businessmen in Western New York and the entire country. This is Tom Golisano in his own words. Tom, ready to get started?
Yes, I am, Vic.
All right. Yours is a great American success story, turning $3,000 into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise known as the payroll processing company Paychex, based in your home area of Rochester. Tell us about the man behind the vision.
Well, I guess when I was a young person, I always felt I was very entrepreneurial. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have my own business. And one day I found myself working for a company that did payroll processing for large companies in the Rochester area. In fact, the larger the prospect and number of employees, the better we liked it as a prospect. But everybody was ignoring the small end or the low end of the market, companies with 1 to 50 employees. And I don't know if you know this, but 98% of all employers in the United States have less than 100 employees. So it was a whole marketplace everybody was sort of avoiding or not going after. So I started Paychex. You're right, I had $3,000 in this idea. The $3,000 lasted about 6 weeks. And from that point on, it was beg, borrow, and steal until I could get the thing to break even, which took about 4 years. That's not a good thing to say about my sales ability, but that's how long it took. In fact, it took 3 years or 4 years to get 300 clients, and now Paychex sells 2,000 clients a week across the United States.
How were you able to turn Paychex into such an incredibly successful venture?
Well, after I got to the break-even point in Rochester, a friend of mine, walked into my office and said, "Tom, you really seem to be making it here. Is there any way I can get involved?" And I said, his name was Phil, and I said, "Phil, how would you like to open an office with me in Syracuse, New York?" And he said, "Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll do it as a partnership." Then a few months later, an employee of a client came into the office and said, "Tom, this is a great service. I'd like to move someplace and start it on my own." And I said, "Well, Chuck, we could start a partnership. Where did you want to go?" And he said, "Miami, Florida." And I said, "That's great." He says, "But I don't want you as a partner, Tom." He says, "I'll be your franchisee." We established that relationship, and then for the next 4 years, I established 11 partnerships and 6 franchisees. All the people except one lived in Rochester, New York, and moved to various parts of the country. From that point, after these 17 individuals got started, one day I started to think about, how are we going to walk away from this someday? How are we going to maximize our capability having 18 different entities? So I got the group together down in the Bahamas in February, and I said, "Folks, I've got an idea. Let's consolidate this into one company. We'll work very hard for 3 years building a sales organization and opening new cities. Then we'll focus for 2 more years on profitability, and then we'll either sell it or take it public." They all agreed to do it. We all became employees and shareholders of this new entity. And after 4.5 years, the decision was made we would take it public and it would become a public corporation. Now, when we went public in 1983, it had a total market value, shares outstanding times price per share, of about $65 million. Today, it has a market valuation of over $10 billion. We have 12,500 employees, and we literally do the payroll for 550,000 companies across the U.S.